Descendants of King Cadmus who founded this city. So why'd you come here with his laurel branches, richly dressed with all the signs of desperate people begging for help? In the city, I hear the prayers for the sick, and the sound of weeping, and the air is heavy with incense and tears. What more do you want? I can't rely on second-hand reports. I've come to see for myself. I'm Oedipus, the king. Everyone knows my name. And you, sir, well, you are a priest. You're a man old enough to be wise and entitled to speak first. So sudden panic, is it? Demand for action. Well, everything I can do, I will do, of course. I have to man without fearing to close my eyes and stop my ears to a petition from everyone such as this.
King Oedipus, Lord of Thebes, you see us, many hundreds crowding your palace, youngsters like birds still in a nest, old men whose eyes have seen everything, priests of Zeus like me, and other gods, the very best of our young men. We've all come here. There are thousands more crowding the marketplace, and at the twin altars of Pallas Athena, an Isthmus shrine by the river, where the future can be read in the ashes. We are all offering desperate prayers. You've seen yourself what's happening here. City is like a warship defeated in battle. Crops are rotting in the fields. Disease is killing the cattle. Babies are born dead or decay in the womb. If that's not enough, some god has sent a plague like a firestorm to scorch our people. Courtyards Cadmus built will soon be empty. And the underworld is already full of Thebans weeping in the darkness for themselves and their kin. We choose to come here and beg for your help. It's not because we think you're a god, because we know you are the best of men. Not just in the daily affairs of state, but on those deeper mysteries where the mind touches eternity. We haven't forgotten that it was you, a man newly arrived here who solved the riddle of the Sphinx, that monstrous perversion of lion, woman and bird, and saved us from her magical tyranny. We could do nothing to help you then, and I think we all think some god helped you. That's why world-famous Oedipus, we're asking for your help again. Find us some remedy, either from your own experience or by calling on supernatural powers. You've solved terrible problems in the past. That gives us confidence in your abilities now. You have a reputation to uphold. It would be ridiculous to have preserved us then, only to see us wasted now. Save us again. Sail under that same lucky star and guide us, as a real prince should, into the harbour of peace and good fortune. An unmanned ship needs no captain. A city that is empty because its people are dead has no further use for a king.
My people, believe me when I say I know everything you're suffering. Why you come here and what you ask of me. I suffer as much, perhaps more than you do. You carry your own personal burdens of sorrow. Well, I carry those too, and my own, and the city's. I've not been sleeping. Like you, my eyes are bloodshot with too frequent tears. I've walked every corridor of the palace, every secret gallery of my own mind, searching and searching for what best to do. And this much I have done, for I've not been idle. The one thing that seems most sensible. My brother-in-law Creon, the son of Oedipus, I've sent to Apollo's oracle at Delphi, to ask the Pythia there, the sacred priestess, what word or action of mine may be of use. He ought to be here. His mission has taken far longer than it should, and I'm beginning to wonder what keeps him so long. But when he arrives, whatever the oracle demands, you have my word of being meticulously performed.
No man can say fairer than that, nor upon a better cue. There's a signal. Creon himself is approaching.
Apollo, God of healing, let the news be good.
It must be. He walks with a man confident in success.
Dear brother-in-law, son of Oedipus, what is God's message? What does the oracle say?
Good news, good news!
Good news! What did he say?
You should say it will be good news. If all turns out well, perhaps painful to begin with.
What's that supposed to mean? Such an outrushing of to laugh, you're
I
right.
mean, say it all here in public, or should we go inside?
In public, of course. Well, these people suffer, I suffer too. Their lives concern me more than my own.
The answer's straightforward. The command's simple. There's something unclean in the city. Born here, living here, pollutes everything. We harbour it, we must drive it out.
Well, how can we purify it? The pollution is so clean thing, what is it?
By banishment, or by blood for blood. It was bloodshed, the oracle said, that's whipped up the storm that's destroying us.
Well, whose blood was shed? What sort of man?
There was a king here, sir, before you came. His name was Laius.
Well, I've heard the name, I've never seen that.
The man was killed. The oracle's meaning's clear enough. The unknown killers must be brought to justice.
Well, where are they? The trail's gone cold. It's an old story now.
Here. The god said, search here and you won't be disappointed. No evidence is ever found if you don't look for it.
Well, where did it happen, this unresolved murder? Here in the palace, in the country, or while he's travelling abroad?
No, he left to go on a pilgrimage, but he never returned except in a coffin.
Well, who was with him? Someone must have seen it. There must be some evidence, some scrap, some rumour.
A servant. But he ran so fast he can only remember one thing.
What thing? Tell me this one is clue mainly to others.
That robbers, not one man, but a whole band of them met them on the road and murdered the king.
Robbers? Would they dare attack a king? And perhaps they brought them fever, money, political ambition, motive.
We thought so too at the time, but the crisis blew up almost at once. We had other troubles. No one pursued it.
What crisis could be greater than a murdered king? So there was an inquiry then, or any kind of investigation?
The voice of the Sphinx seemed to mesmerize us. She drained all our energies with her riddling. It was a question of survival. No time for unsolved mysteries, even regicide.
Then I shall get it. There's time enough now. We'll shine a fresh light into every corner of this old dark and musty business. Thanks to Lord Apollo, and our gratitude to you, Creon, for reminding us of what we have forgotten, our duty to the dead. I am determined to do everything I can to save this city, and to show the gods justice. After all, it's in my interest too to avenge his crime. Not just for Laius' sake, but for my own protection. This unknown killer may strike at me. Justice for Laius and my own safety go hand in hand. So go to your homes now, good people. Pick up these sad sprays of laurel, call the Theban councillors here, and tell them I'm doing everything a man can do. With the gods' help, we will find out the truth and save the city. We must. Or we'll be destroyed.
Well, now, good people, the king has promised us everything we came to ask for, and with Apollo's help, we may soon be able to rid ourselves of this misery. Let us pray for that.
My heart is cold and racked with fear.
From your husband of Dios, supreme physician.
So does your antidote to his
Is
plague?
this torture unique?
He's an old condition of suffering from men of the century.
I'm living a thin wise daughter of years.
Murder of disease on several nations.
Death in the moon, the birth of a shadow of death.
You know, Moloch, you don't hear all cities screaming.
Like fire consuming, despairing crying. Great Father Zeus. You punish with fire. Incinerate the god of war. Before we all lie dead.
You pray to the gods. Now listen to me. If you act as I told to act, follow my instructions in every detail, those prayers will soon be answered. I speak as an outsider. I know nothing of this story, the murder or the murderers. So without your help, and with hardly a clue to go on alone, what trail can I follow? When this crime was committed, I wasn't even a citizen of Thebes. So first I'll make this public proclamation. If any man here knows the killer's name, he must speak out now in public to me. Or perhaps one of you is the guilty man. If that man is here, gives himself up now, pleads with him, does no capital charge, the severest sentence I should pronounce would be exile. No greater punishment than that. Or perhaps one of you has inside knowledge of some foreigners. If you turn him forward, you'll be well paid, I should think that. But my gratitude, of course, will be the truest and most satisfying report. If, however, that man is here and refuses to speak, or if anyone, out of fear for himself, his friends, or his family, ignores these offers, and is then later found to be sheltering anyone or himself, on that man I pass sentence already. No matter who he is, I, Oedipus, forbid anyone to speak with or give shelter to that man, in the city or in the country under my rule. No man shall pray with him, make sacrifice of him, or even allow him to wash in his house. Everyone will kick him out of doors, as the perpetrator of this horrible crime that brings us suffering in our city. Now, according to the prophetic word of Apollo, as revealed to me by the Delphic oracles, I stand here as the champion of the gods, and of the dead king too, and the man himself the murderer. With all solemnity I curse him, no matter whether he acts alone or with others, to bear the mark of this crime to the end of his life. Without friends, homeless, and in misery. I will not go further. I don't even exclude myself. If knowingly I should shelter this criminal in any house or half of mine, let the curse I've uttered fall on me as fiercely as upon anyone. Now this is my sentence, and it's up to you, all of you, to see this thoroughly carried out, for your sake, for my sake, and for the sake of this plague-ridden, God-deserted city. To be honest with you, I am surprised that no purification ceremonies or investigations were undertaken when so excellent a king as Laius was inexplicably murdered. Even if at the God's commands that should be looked into, I would have thought. Now, however, I am king. I enjoy Laius' title, his bed, and his wife. She's a kind of common ground to us. And his children, indeed, think happily would be another one, sharing the love with my own. But Laius is a sad victim of this tragedy. And these links between us and my feelings for the man make me determined to fight for him now, as if he was my own father. Nothing will be too much trouble to ferret him out of this destroyer of Laius. And Laius, of course, was the heir to Lapticus and all the ancient kings of Thebes, back to Cadmus and Agenor and his father too. So if any man here dares to ignore these orders, then the gods' curses fall on him too. Barren earth, barren cattle, barren wife, and all the horrors that this suffering city daily endures without mercy to the end of his life. But the honest people of Thebes, those of you who follow me in intention and in action, will then be just as And the gods help us today and every day.
This curse frightens every man great king of thieves, and it terrifies me.
I'm not a killer. Let me say that at once.
The god Apollo asked this question. He, if anyone, should give us an answer.
I don't doubt that. If any man here can tell me how he can persuade the god to speak, when the god doesn't want to, I shall thank him for it.
There may be another thing worth saying, although second best admittedly.
Second best worth this, so would you think any man's opinion is worth hearing at a time like this?
The prophet, an astrologer at Heresias. He has knowledge.
Inside experience, he more than able to help us now.
Which is why I've sent him already. Nothing, my friends, has been overlooked. Creon suggested it. I sent him twice and expected him here some time ago.
There are rumors, of course, King. Gossip in the marketplace.
Rumours, what rumours? You must tell me everything.
That devil is killing somewhere on the road.
I've heard that already.
But when your curse will be made public, someone may come forward, and it will take a brave man to keep silent.
No murderer feeds words against a stomach for murder.
Here comes the man to teach out the truth. The blind shame of Heresias.
You've seen into the heart of things and solved more mysteries than any living man.
Socrates, you have made yourself a master of all the arts of understanding, both mystic symbolism and practicalism. The highest spiritual truths and the most down-to-earth material realities revealed your prophets. You see the state of our city. Not with your eyes alone, but with your intellect. And we rely on you as our spiritual champion. You see the state of the city, huh? You can see for yourself. Listen to me. We all know, that in the formation of birds in flight, and we have many other omens for ever see the future. So for your sake, for my sake, for the sake of this city, help us weather this pestilence. If dead man walks in the streets, he blinds us with his shadow. You're in your hands. A gifted man puts his gifts to best use in the service of his fellow man.
That terrifying gift. What uses wisdom if it only leads to suffering? I knew this before I came and foolishly forgot it. I should have stayed at home.
That's wrong, sir. What's that supposed to mean?
Please, let me go. Things will be best that way. You will bear your bills and I will bear mine.
Duty, Father Christian. The thief don't catch your body here.
I've heard your proclamation. It's misconceived. So it's best for me to keep silent.
Dear God! Do you mean you know you won't say? Look, all around this whole city are imploring you to speak.
That's because you are all blind to what I can see. I can't tell you. The truth is painful. My secret, Angelus.
You do know, don't you? You're holding back. You're prepared to watch the whole country die.
I'm saving you from agony. And myself. Don't ask me again. Don't waste your time. I shall tell you nothing.
Nothing? What kind of monstrosity? A stone statue moved to fury, much less a man. Do you mean this? You really prepared to say nothing?
You lose your temper. Make me your scapegoat when it's your own anger you should play.
Do you hear him? What this man is saying? It's an insult to the state! Every decent citizen will be outraged.
I can't change the future, only describe it. What will happen, whatever I say.
It's your duty to say what you know. If it must come, you must tell me.
Lose your temper. Shout, stamp, if it pleases you. I shall say nothing more.
Do you hear what this man is saying? And yes, I'll be angry. And more than angry. I understand this much. I understand that you're implicated. Maybe you even planned this murder. Did everything but act it. And I've done that too in my opinion for eyes to see your victim.
Would I indeed? You compel me to speak. The curse you proclaimed is now upon your head. From today, never to speak to me or anyone. You are the man, the unclean thing, that doth the bridge disease.
You dare to accuse me? You slander me in public and think your fortune-telling gives you some kind of immunity.
I don't need it. The truth is its own protector.
Who's behind this? Someone told him to say this. There's more to this than fortune-telling.
You did. You made me say it against my will.
Then say it again, there'll be no doubt.
Didn't you hear? Or do you want me to elaborate?
Oh, I heard. I was scribbling my ears. Say it again aloud to everyone!
You are the murderer of the Wonder King!
Twice in my fate you regret this, old man.
Indulge your anger if it pleases you. I could say more to make you angrier still.
Oh, why not? Huh? Why not? No lunacy. Let's have it all.
I know, but you do not. That the women you love is not the women you love. That the relationship is disgusting, taboo, and in your ignorance will destroy you.
Do you expect to say such things and not be punished?
The truth protects me if I tell it honestly.
The truth? What's the truth to you? You're blind all over, ears, mind as well as eyes.
I pity you. People will scream the same insults at you. Before long, everyone will despise you.
You know nothing of the real world. You live in darkness permanently. My eyes are open, you can't hurt me.
How could I? An old man. It's not my business. Apollo will do it. It's in his hands.
Creel, of course. He went through. This plot is his doing, not yours.
Creon isn't your enemy. You are!
Political rank, wealth and power, and men's ambitions touring each other, till life becomes a battleground and envy is everyone's motive. Creon is and has been my friend. I trust it completely, and this crown is given to me freely by the people. I didn't ask for it. And yet this man, my friend, secretly plots to overthrow me with a spiritual quack, a charlatan, a paranormal stuntman whose eyes are stone blind when it comes to prophecy. But where money's concerned, are very sharp, wide open men. Astrology, fortune telling, forecasting the future. Well, where was any of that when we needed it? There's a monster here. Do you remember? I'm sure you do. The face of a woman and the body of a dog that terrorized this city. Well, where is he then? What did he suggest to save this country? She said a riddle. No ordinary man could answer. I mean, what else are prophets for? You hadn't a clue, had you? Not a word. Not the slightest suggestion. And then I came off. Young man, quite ignorant, knew nothing of only what my mother gave me. But I didn't. I stopped her mouth. Oedipus, I guessed a riddle and without any gobbledygook about birds. Yet Oedipus, I am the man that you and Creon hope to depose. So what? He can be king, and you his guru. You'll regret this. You'll both regret this attempt at making me your scapegoat. If you want an old man, punishment will teach you a demonstrate prophecy and sedition!
Please, to speak in anger as both of you have done.
And none of us, as far as I can judge, when our city is dying!
We must consider the god's command and how to obey.
You may be king, but I am a free man. I have the right to answer. I serve Apollo the god, not you, not Creon. You sneer at my blindness. You have eyes, but cannot see your own corruption. Nor who she is you love the most. Not even whose son you are. In your ignorance, you have committed terrible crimes against those closest to you, living and the dead. A double curse like a two-edged sword. Father and mother will drive you from this city into exile forever. And what a cripple you'll be then. Those bright eyes, that perfect vision you're so proud of, will become dark like mine. There'll be no place on earth that hasn't heard the sound of your pain. The wildest heathlands of Catharion, even its cliffs and ravines, will echo to your bellowing. When you understand how those melodious marriage songs deceived you, when they led you to that safe harbour you imagined here, then unimaginable sufferings, miseries you cannot guess at, will become familiar both to you and to your children as you pile your agonies upon their heads. Accuse Creon of every crime, slander him, despise what I say. Every man in the world will despise you, and no man has committed crimes like yours.
I can ask you this. Why should I? You get him out of my sight! Take him back to where he came from.
Yes, I shall go now. You brought me here. Remember that. I didn't want to come.
Oh, believe me. If I'd known what I'd have to listen to, the ravings of a lunatic, I'd have let you in peace.
You think I was born a fool? Your parents wouldn't think so.
What is constant harm upon my parents, who fathered me?
Today, you will father your own destruction and conceive the truth of your birth and death.
Speak plainly, man! Stop talking in riddles.
Why not? You have a genius for solving them.
Yes, I'm famous for it, and your sneers and insults won't make me any less insightful.
That fame is your misfortune.
I said to state, with my genius, what does it matter to me what you choose to call it?
Now I shall go. Give me your hand, boy. Take me home.
You take it! I'm good riddance. We can do without you! Rave in your own hands and spare mine!
Yes. Now go. I've says what I came here to say, and I've says it to your face. How should I be frightened? You no longer have the power to hurt me. But I will say one thing more. The man you're looking for, the murderer of lives, is here. He passes for a foreigner who lives in Thebes, but he was born here and will learn that to his cost. He could see when he came here, he'll leave blind. He's a rich man now. He'll go as a beggar, groping with a stick in his hand, tapping his way. He'll leave this city into endless exile. To his children whom he loves, he is brother and father. To the women who bore him, lover and son. To his father, a killer, and the man who supplants him. Go in. Set your genius to solve those riddles. Only a blind man would he find them untrue.
Who's this man? Whose terrible crime? The unearthly voice from Apollo's vessel.
Intone from the rock of Delphi.
From the snow-bound crest of Parnassus.
The word was transmitted to Thebes.
You must find this killer!
Tiresias has spread fear and confusion. Should we believe him or not?
For us,
Best to keep quiet. I'm like jelly, uncertain.
What is happening? Or what will happen?
Has ever been a row between both of us in the house of Sophocles?
None of which I've ever heard.
what could be more absurd?
No reckon, or without proof, what Oedipus' name.
By pinning this unsolved murder upon him.
Oedipus saved our state, publicly outwitted the Sphinx.
Like gold, he was tested and found true.
We must find his guilt proved.
Citizens! Citizens! Tell me the king has charged me with subversion. I'm innocent of any such charge. Does he imagine at a time like this I would say or do anything to injure him? I'd rather die than be smeared like that. And it is a smear to be accused of treason before you, my friends and my countrymen.
He lost his temper. He made wild accusation. I think he spoke without thought.
He said, "Don't profit like that of my instructions." Who gave him that idea?
He did say it, but why he said it, or whether he meant it, is a matter of opinion.
Speak rationally. Look you in the eye, or has he gone mad?
I get more common sense than to make judgments like that on king's actions. He comes from the palace, he may speak for himself.
Through here, Cleon. What have you come for? Hardy folk, you think skinny lads come knock at my door again and you plan to murder me and steal my power? Do you imagine I'm afraid of you, or stupid, or too blind to know it's a conspiracy thrown from me? Or not bright enough, perhaps, for anything about it? What a conspiracy. You pay your friends and financial backing to capture throne, Cleon. Revolutions are made of men, and the money to pay them will buy them.
You let me speak. Judge me first after you heard my answer, not before.
You've always been a brilliant talker, Cleon, but talk cuts no ice with me. I've seen the evidence of your actions. Betrayal, sedition.
Will you let me speak?
Well, say you like. But don't protest your innocence, that'd be too much.
Do you think it's a sensible way to proceed? A bonehead refusal to listen is a proper way to proceed?
Do you think I'd allow you to plot a palace revolution and do nothing about it? Why? Because my brother-in-law?
Only a fool would allow that, I agree, but there's no revolution in the palace or anywhere. No conspiracy. What am I supposed to have done?
It was you who advised I stones like counting profit.
Good advice, and I give it again.
Tell me. How long ago? How long did Elias?
And Elias, what?
He died mysteriously. How long ago was that?
Years and years ago, I can hardly remember.
And this fortune teller, was he there in the property business?
Respected then, as now for his skill and integrity.
And did he mention my name when the murder happened?
Not in my hearing.
Well, so there was an inquiry then, or any kind of investigation?
There was an inquiry, but it revealed nothing.
So why did he say nothing then of what he had to say today?
I have no idea. I never say anything unless I'm in full possession of all the facts.
Oh, but one thing, you do know, and it'd be wise to tell me.
Everything I know will tell you I will hold nothing back.
You know this much. Without your prompting, the fortune teller would never dare to accuse me of the murder of Elias.
Did you say that? Then only you would know if he's lying or telling the truth, not I. Am I permitted to interrogate you?
Why not? I've got nothing to hide. You'll never pin this murder on me.
Are you married to my sister?
Of course I am. What kind of question is that I do have that honour?
She shares both title and revenue.
Of course she does. What's mine is hers.
Am I the third partner? Do I have my equal power and responsibility?
You've always had. All the more disgusting me to conspire against me behind my back.
But I haven't conspired against you. Ask yourself whether the same man will really exchange a quiet life within the ruling family for the wear and tear, the grueling responsibility of government. It's never crossed my mind. I have no ambition to be king in name or in fact. I live like a king, and sometimes I hope I act like one. No more. No sensible man would ask for more. If I had your job, there'd be too many things I would like doing, and no more satisfaction from the kingship itself that I get from royal rank. I'm not so drunk with the prospect of power as to envy a position that yields no profit. Look at me. Everyone knows me. Everyone loves me. I think if anybody wants to get your attention first has to get mine, because my influence guarantees success. Why should I break with you in such conditions? Am I such a fool as to commit treason as a political policy? It has nothing to recommend it. It's not my policy nor the policy of any of my friends, not if I know them. If you want proof, send to the priestess at the oracle. Check the message I brought. Produce some evidence of conspiracy between the blind man and me. Prove that, and my verdict would be as merciless as any man's. But to condemn me like this on mere suspicion, that I cannot endure. It's unjust to condemn innocent people without good reason. If mere supposition unsupported will be the only evidence that you could call bad men, honest and decent, honourable citizens, crooks and villains, then justice will be done to none of them. A reliable friend is a worthy possession. Throw away friendship and you throw away something living and irreplaceable. The truth of this will emerge in time. Time is the one incorruptible judge. 1 minute is long enough to accuse a man. To prove his innocence takes much longer.
If you weigh his words, they make a good sense. Wise man consideration.
Conspiracies do not take their time.
Quick, judge.
Count always.
Quick, judge.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Well, counterintelligence must move fast too. Or be caught napping. So I sit here and do nothing while he takes power and my own sluggishness destroys me.
What do you want from me then? To be banished?
Banished? Oh no! I'm only dead!
What have I done to drive you so...
You sailed so obstinate, still pretending!
Yes! Because you're not thinking straight!
I know my interest lie.
What about my interest?
You're a traitor!
You're mistaken!
Kings must make decisions.
No wrong decision!
Kings is my city, not yours!
Princess!
Kings is my city as well as yours!
Stop this brawling! The Queen Jocasta is coming from the palace!
What is all this shouting? From inside the palace I heard angry voices like a quarrel. Aren't you ashamed? Indulging yourselves in private arguments, squabbling like boys while the whole city dies all around you. Go inside, my husband, and you too, Creole. Go back to your own house before you turn a private round to a public spectacle.
Sister, your husband has condemned me unheard to a choice of death or exile.
Say I have. And that, dear wife, is the least I can do.
May all the gods curse me forever if I'm remotely guilty!
Oedipus, you must believe him. I know it's like that can't be taken lightly. Believe him for my sake, for the sake of these reliable counsellors they heard it
Great
all.
king, be prepared to change your mind. You ask me to break my word.
No man ever questioned his integrity.
Join your asking.
Is that anything we do?
Well, say no to him, then everyone know.
He's your long trusted friend above suspicion. Don't condemn him by hearsay and above of his own.
You don't understand your implications. Spare him to my badge, little death.
Our city is in anguish!
What greater blow could fall upon us in our misery than anger and hatred between you two?
Well, then let him go. Even if my death, exile, and disgrace is the price of your mercy, your voice buys his pardon, not his. And every hides his face, let my back-breaking hatred be his burden.
Apologies as graceless as your anger's insane. An unforgiving nature breeds hatred in his own heart, not that of his enemies.
Leave me in peace, I will be gone.
Oh, oh God. But they respect my integrity. I'm misjudged. Only by you.
Madam, take the king inside. Speak to him in
What
private.
was this quarrel? Who began it?
Rumors were mentioned, unjust accusations, unfounded suspicions.
Both men were at fault.
Yes, they were.
Tell me all the details. You can speak without fear.
We have troubles enough. Best to keep silent. Let sleeping dogs lie.
Your intention, your advice is pregnant disaster. All the guilt falls on me.
Great king, we will be starved man to cast you out without any proof.
We need your help and guidance.
You are our captain. In what weather or not.
Please tell me, what harm could Creole have done to cause such fury so suddenly? I am worthy of your trust.
Well, these characters mean well, and that's me far more. It's Creole. I'm simply discussing Sophocles' conspiracy.
What conspiracy, and why do you kill my brother? You my brother.
He says I'm responsible for Elias's murder.
Has he any evidence, or is it hearsay?
He says nothing himself. That crap fortune teller speaks from his bird-talking prophecy.
Oh, and is that all? Oh, set your mind at rest. No one can predict the future. I know what I'm talking about from personal experience. I have proof. When Elias was alive, an oracle told him, well, I won't say the gods spoke, but his mouthpiece did, that he would be killed by his own son. Our child, but it didn't happen. Elias was murdered by persons unknown, foreign robbers. According to the story, at a place where 3 roads meet. As for the child, it was abandoned on a deserted mountain before it was 3 days old by a servant. To make doubly sure, his ankles were pierced and strapped together with leather thongs. So that prediction didn't come true, in spite of Apollo. That prophecy of parricide wasn't fulfilled. Laius was murdered, but not as he feared by his own son. The oracle had been unambiguous, its meaning quite plain, so I take notice of these fortune tellers and astrologers. The gods always carry their own way, without anyone's help, when they're ready.
There's something you said to Kester. I remember. My brain's a turmoil, feelings and memories.
Why do you look at me so strangely? What's the matter?
You said, didn't you, Elias was butchered at a place where 3 roads meet?
Yeah, that was a common story. It still is.
Where? What country?
A place in Focus, where the road from Thebes forks to downline Delphi.
And how long ago did all this happen?
Oh, it was before you arrived. The news became public a short while before you became king.
God! What will you do to me?
Oedipus, you look terrified. That's my son.
Not yet! Don't ask me yet! How old is Elias? What kind of man is he?
A big man hair-brained about your bill.
What's it got? If I'd known him, I'd have damned myself just a moment ago.
Don't look at me like that. What do you mean?
Well, maybe Tiresias could see after all. Terrifying, but possible. Now tell me one more thing.
Why are you frightening me? I'll tell you everything.
Well, who was with the king? Was he travelling with few attendants, or was he travelling in state with 7 armed men?
5 men all told. One of them, a herald, lights himself wounded in Paris.
Well, nothing be clearer than that. Every detail. Where'd you get this information?
There was one spy for a servant. Eventually, he got back to Thebes.
Is he still here now?
No, he isn't. By the time he got back, everything has changed in the city.
Well, I must see him here.
You were King Laius' place.
I must see him here. Once a day. Can we find him?
Well, we will find him, but why are you so anxious?
My dear wife, I'm scared. What I've done and what I'm doing, what he said far too much. I must speak to the shepherd and ask him some questions.
Once, but why are you so worried? You must tell me. I do have a right to know.
The truth of this is what I think it is. No one has a greater right to know than you. I'll tell the whole story. My father, Oedipus, was Corinth born, and Merope, my mother, came from Doris. I was an up-and-coming fellow. was very much a man to watch. Until one day something odd happened. Something astonishing, which probably caused more trouble than it merited, but which I took seriously. At a banquet one day, a man who had drunk too much, he jeered at me. He told me I was my father's son. I was very hurt, angry and insulted, and I kept it to myself for the rest of the day. But a thing like that gets under your skin. I couldn't forget it, and the story went round a great deal as these things do. So if I telling my parents, well, I went to them, and I asked them question after question, and I was compelled to tell them the truth, and the following day, without telling them, I went to the oracle at Delphi. I got no answer to my questions, but a torrent of horrors and miseries instead. That I should somehow marry my mother, father children, her conceived incestuously, become a public outcast for her, notorious throughout the world. If that wasn't enough, I'd kill my own father. So what can I do? Well, I'm mad! As fast and as far away from Parkland as I can. Travel cities by the position of the stars, so that dreadful prophecy could not possibly come true. The route I took me to that part of the country where a corpse, Eulias, was murdered. Now listen, Jocasta. This is the truth in every detail. I came across a place where 3 roads meet. And at that junction, I was confronted by a carriage drawn by horses and carrying a passenger, just like you described. My build. Grey hair. The man in front, he shouted me to get out of the road, and the old man too rudely ordered me out of the way. And the driver, he barged into me, so I hit him hard. But I was uncontrollable. I was furious by now. And the old man in the carriage, he was watching for his turn. And as I passed him, he hit me full on the head with a 2-pronged stick, the type he used for goading the horses to make them gallop. And I paid him back with interest and double quick. I whacked him sounding with my staff. Knocked him out of the carriage. He fell flat in the road. All the others came to me, of course. And I killed them. Every one. If that man in the carriage, if he's remotely connected to lies, if the king's blood runs in his veins, is there any man on earth more miserable than I am? All the gods will hate me, and every man. No one will talk to me, friends or stranger. No one will invite me into their house. I curse the murderer, and now the weight of that curse now falls on me. The same hands that killed him fondled his wife. So as I curse them, they're giggling. Curse. A filthy, corrupted thing, infecting the city, deserving exile if anyone deserves it. One hand cast out from feet, denied the sight of my wife or children again. Corinth, my childhood home. No, never can I return there, for fear the oracle may be fulfilled. And I just want to marry my own mother and kill my father, Oedipus, who nurtured me and gave me life. Oh God, it's the gods that see it. They devised this inhuman scenario to me themselves. Listen, God, as you reverend that purity of your power over human affairs, I'll do everything I can to deny her that pleasure. No, never must I take her if I can help it. I'd rather die, with every memory of my existence blotted out from the face of the earth. Be shamed, not be branded notorious before humanity.
Your story is terrifying, great king, but don't give up hope.
There was an eyewitness.
Until you've questioned him, say nothing.
The shepherd's my last chance, I'll cling to that.
But even when he gets here, what possible help can he be?
One detail, and it's crucial. If his story corroborates yours, I'm proved innocent.
What detail? What did I say? Does it matter?
In your version of the shepherd's evidence, Elias was killed by robbers plural. If he still says the same, if he still calls them robbers, I'm in the clear. One man is not a group of men. Plural is plural, not singular. But if he describes a single traveller walking on his own, quite honestly, all the evidence will point to me.
But he did say robbers, I'm certain. He can't change his story now. He spoke in public, the whole city heard him. And even if his evidence varies in detail, by no stretch of the imagination can he pretend that lies died as predicted. A child of mine would kill him, the oracle said, and it didn't happen. My poor little boy killed no one. He was the one who died years before any of this happened. Is that how much oracles were? In future, whatever they say, one way or the other, I won't waste my time with any of them.
That's the truth of the matter. But we will speak to the shepherd. Send him the Benjamin now this minute.
Once! Must have him but once. Carve inside. I'll do nothing without your approval. Nothing.
I only ask for an honest mind.
And justice.
And believe in the moral law, as God decrees. No man made those precepts. They never sleep nor decay with age.
As men decay.
They run their courses
From immortal sources.
like a pure and eternal fountain. Arrogant self-love breeds absolute rule.
The tyrant!
Who eats up money and man.
He seeks absolute power
And in one foolish hour.
Overreaches himself.
and ends in the gutter.
An ambitious man, he should obey to the gods when the demons drive him to serve the state.
He sets his store by moral law.
The gods love him and his people prosper.
But what if a man should laugh at justice?
Grab what he wants and disregard.
By his own actions, honesty and truth.
And plunder holy shrines.
How
Can he
can he escape the consequences of his rape?
The murderer becomes king. Why?
Why should I cling to the old ways and moralities and honor in song the sacred harmony?
Oh, Zeus in castle, if you hear our prayers, show us again your immortal power. In this darkest hour, when life is fate and Apollo's word, our law forgotten and your wordings unheard.
Decided senators of Thebes to visit the holiest temples of the city, to make sacrifices there with incense and flowers to the all-powerful gods. The king is confused in the moment by his own nightmares and fantasies. He can't make balanced judgments or estimate from past experience what is likely to happen. Each new sensational revelation he takes as truth and is terrified the more. I've tried to comfort him, but I failed. So now it's insensible to offer prayers. And first to Apollo, whose altar stands nearest. Brilliant God of sunlight and healing. We live in a shadow of a cusp. Shine on our darkest corners. Shine on our darkest corners. Where there's sickness and dirt, make us whole and clean. Where there's sickness and dirt, make us whole and clean. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can anyone show me the way to the palace of King Oedipus? Or better still, to the man himself, if you know where he is.
This is the palace, the king is inside it, this lady is his wife, the mother of his children.
God bless her then, and all her family, bearing children to such a great man.
God bless you too, sir. Have you come here for your own purposes or to bring us news?
News, dear lady, and good news too, for your husband, for his whole family.
And what news is it? Who sent you?
I come from Corinth, and my message is bound to please you, though it's painful too and may make you sad to begin with.
What message causing two such opposite reactions?
The Corinthians will make Oedipus king of the whole isthmus. Everybody says so.
But Oedipus rules in Corinth and has done for years. Isn't he still king?
Oedipus is dead, my dear lady, and buried.
Oedipus is dead. The father of Oedipus dead. He's dead. The father of Oedipus dead.
Unless I'm a liar, in which case strike me dead on the spot.
Oh, you go quickly. Go to the king, tell him the news. Oh, oracles, dreamers of dreams. Where are your predictions now?
going on?
This man has news for you. Listen, and then tell me what you think of oracles with the mystification of mumbo jumbo.
Who is he? What does he have to say?
He comes from Corinth. Your father, Oedipus, he's dead. Do you understand? He's dead.
You... Tell yourself, get it quite clear.
I can't put it any plainer. He's dead, all right. He's gone the way we all go.
So how did he die? From murder or sickness?
Sleep comes easily to an old man's eyes.
So he's ill. Declined gradually.
He was old and tired. He'd lived long enough.
So what now, Jocasta? That oracle at Delphi and her prophecy and her priestess, and a whole sky full of screaming birds prophesying ruin, that I'd be the man that killed my father and my sword has never left it scabbard. Or maybe died of a broken heart. Well, because I was an exile, maybe I killed him that way. But I don't think so. Oedipus is dead. But so is that oracle and her prophecies. Dead and run.
Wasn't that my prophecy right from the beginning? Didn't I say so?
Oh, you did. But I was confused and frightened.
Oh, forget it now, it's over.
But my mother? Well, she's alive. I can't be safe. I still have to fear.
Oh, fear, why fear? We live our lives at the mercy of chance, of purest coincidence. No one can forecast the future, so what's the point of fearing it? Live, enjoy life, take each day as it comes. As for marrying your mother, you're not the first to have dreamed that dream. Every man is his mother's lover in imagination and in daydreams. It's commonplace. If a man broods on his most private fantasies, his life won't be worth living. Believe me.
It's all very well your celebration. If the woman that brought me into the world happens to be dead, but she's not yet, she's alive.
Oh.
And while she's alive, somewhere inside me, well, I'm so afraid.
But less afraid your father's dead.
Less afraid maybe, but still afraid of her.
Don't mind me asking, sir. Who is this lady that scares you so much?
Queen Mary, the dead king's wife.
What's she done? There's nothing to scare you about her, surely.
My friend, there's an oracle once from Delphi, dreadful prophecy.
Too dreadful to tell a stranger, or can anyone hear it?
It's no secret. Apollo's mouthpiece itself told me I was doomed to marry my own mother and kill my father, Oedipus, with my own hands. It's for this reason I left Corinth and stayed away for so long. But I prospered, as you can see abroad.
Yeah.
But nothing can compensate for the loss of my parents' love or the pleasure to know me seeing you face to face.
And that's the fear that's kept you in exile, no other reason.
Well, of course it was. I was determined not to kill my father.
Well, I come to do you one good turn, and now I can do you another.
Well, if you know more than my gratitude.
That was partly my motive in coming, and to do myself a good turn later when you come back home.
Home? You mean Corinth? I'll never return there. I'll never see either of my parents again.
My dear young fellow, you got it all wrong.
What do you mean, old man? For God's sake, tell me everything you know.
This fear that stops you coming home.
The fear that God's prediction should come true.
Is it all about your parents and the crime you're doomed to commit?
Of course it was. The very first moment that fear's never left me.
Pointless, sir. Quite without basis.
What do you mean? I don't understand you if I'm their son.
Who says you're their son?
What are you saying? Oedipus wasn't my father?
No more your father than I am. Just the same relationship, in fact.
Just the same relationship? You and my father? How's that even possible?
It's possible because that man wasn't your father, and neither am I.
Then why did he call me his son?
I gave you to him as a present.
Gave you? But he loved me like a son. No father could have done more.
He had no children, and he wanted a child.
So what was it? Foundling, slave child born somewhere?
Not a bit of it. You were found on a mountain, in a hollow, under some trees, up there on Cathyra.
And what were you doing up there?
Looking after sheep. That was my job.
So what were you doing? A journeyman shepherd taking whatever I came?
That's right. And a good job for you that I was, because I saved your life. No question about that.
Huh? So what was it? In danger, in pain?
Pain. Look at your ankles. They're more swollen up than normal.
What's that got to do with it? It's no weakness I had since a child.
I know you have. Your ankles are drilled through and tied together. I cut you through.
Well, that's got to be true. I still got the scars. I had them as a boy.
How else did you get your name, Oedipus? Swollen foot? That's what it means, doesn't it?
Dear God! Who did that to her own child? My father? My mother?
Don't ask me that. Ask the other chap, the one who gave you to me.
What? You didn't find me yourself?
I didn't. There was another shepherd. He asked me to look after you.
Where is he? Could you identify him?
He's always thought to be one of Laius'. This chap worked for him.
What, Laius was the king before?
That's right, King Laius.
Was he still alive? You recognise him?
Oh, ask your own people.
Well, this shepherd, good people, have you seen him here in the city? If you know this man, for God's sake, say speak out now. The time has come to solve this mystery once and for all.
I think that shepherd and the one you've already sent for, they must be the same person.
Well, ask the queen. She shall to know.
Yes, the shepherd, the one we sent for, he's the same man.
Oh, what man? What shepherd? Oh, what difference does it make? Oh, forget it! Don't pursue it!
Forget it? Of course I can't forget it. What nonsense! My personal mystery and all these clues, I intend to solve it.
Listen to me now, Snakes, listen. If you want to stay alive, this search must end! It's making me ill! I'm sick with it already!
There's no need for such clue. Suppose it proved I was born a slave from a generation of slaves.
I'm begging you!
The fact you're standing!
Go on!
I must go on. I must find out the truth.
Oh, I know what I'm talking about! I'm telling you this for your own good!
And since when have I put my own good, as you call it, ahead of the servants of the state?
My God, you're doomed. There's no escape. I have one wish and one wish only, that you never discover who you really are.
Oh, hurry, look. Don't touch shepherd here. My wife's too proud of her blue blood. She's scared to marry a slave.
You're doomed. There's no escape. I've said all there is to say to you. And the last word to you. Forever.
Why has she become so emotional?
I don't like it. This refuses to speak. It's like the silence that hangs over the city when a storm is about to break.
Storms? Hurricanes? Let them all come. I've travelled this far and I'm determined to find out my identity. If the gun is my birthplace, I shall hunt it out. My wife, like all women, is snobbish about rank and upbringing. But if I'm the Charlie Chance, if good luck is my good fortune, I shall be ashamed. My true love is fortunate coincidence, and my broken sisters are the changing seasons, and I'll change with them as naturally as the trees. Now, if that is my background, who can ask for better? I am what I am, and I've no wish to be otherwise. But who I am, that I must know, and I will know it.
If I can foretell the future.
By prophecy or common sense,
I predict that by tomorrow morning.
these truth will be dawning.
That mysterious environment, that magical mountains.
Father, mother, and nurse to Oedipus our king.
And our voices will sing.
Strange to his outlandish birth, a child of the earth.
And growing up to Apollo.
And thanksgiving may be man who goes roaming the slopes.
Good. I think I can see the man we're waiting for. You are making a guess I've never surprised him. Well, tell me, is he the one you've seen before?
I recognize him. This is the man. He was Laius' servant, and honest as the day.
Now, tell me, who is this man you mean? Your shepherd. Look in the eyes. Answer my questions. Did you work for old King Laius?
Yes, sir, I did. I was born and bred in his service, not bought in the market.
And what's your job here? How are you employed?
For most of my life, sir, I've been a shepherd.
And where? What part of the country did you usually... What country? What, tell me now. What part of the country did you usually work?
It would be Cathara mostly, all around there.
And this man here, did you recognise him?
What man do you mean, sir? How would I know him?
This man. You've had any dealings with him you can remember?
I can't say. Not just this minute, I can't remember.
Of course, he's forgotten. But I'll soon remind him. The days when the two of us were neighbours, up there on Cathara. He won't have forgotten that, will he? He had 2 flocks and I had 1. 3 seasons altogether we were up there, the two of us, from spring right through to autumn. Then he took his lot, I took my lot down to Corinth, and you took your lot down to Thebes, to Laius' place. Now, is that true or isn't it?
Well, it's true enough. It's a long time ago.
In that case, you won't have forgotten that boy, that baby you gave me. You asked me to look after it and bring it up as my own.
Why are you asking about that? It's years ago.
And he's a grown man. My dear old mate. This is that baby.
God damn you, be quiet. Keep your mouth shut.
No, fellow. You deserve that sharp tone more than he does.
Why, great king, what have I done?
You're not getting a straight answer to a straight question. He was asking about the child.
It's just talk. He knows nothing. He doesn't understand.
Now listen. If you won't talk willingly, you'll be forced to speak.
Oh, come an old man, so for God's sake, don't hurt me.
You two! Twist his arms back! Quickly!
Oh, God, help me now. What have I done? So what do you want to know?
This man was asking about the child. Was it you who gave him that child? Was it?
It wasn't me. I wish I'd died that day.
Oh, you'll die today unless you tell me the truth.
I'll die if I tell it as well as...
This man is still determined to the barricade.
No, I'm not. I told you. I gave it to him. What else?
Where did it come from? Was it your child or did someone give it to you?
Oh, mine. Would I give my own child away? Gave him someone else.
Who else? One of the citizens here in Thebes? Tell me, what kind of house did the baby come from?
Oh, the gods, I beg you, sir, don't ask me that.
I am asking. And if I must ask again, you're as good as dead.
Well, I was born in Laius' house.
Slave? Or blood relation?
I'm on the edge, sir, must I say?
Yes. We're both on the edge. I must hear you say it.
They did say that the child was his. But the queen in the palace, she could tell you.
Do you mean she gave it to you?
Yes, sir, she did.
For what purpose?
To kill it, sir.
Her own child?
Yes, sir. There was some prophecy. She was scared stiff.
What prophecy?
There was talk that the boy would kill his father.
Then why in the name of all the gods did you give the child to this man?
I couldn't kill it, master. I couldn't do it. He was a little boy, 3 days old. I thought, he'll take it miles away to his own country. It'll be all right. So he took it. And he saved his life. And now it's all turned out like this. If you are that man, sir, the boy my friend took to Corinth, you were marked out for suffering from the day you were born.
Oh. All of it! I know it all now. Nothing left to find! It all came true. Every single word! So let the night come. The day I have no mercy. Show so much. Too clearly! My conception a crime. My marriage a crime. And that murder committed with my own father. I see it all now. Where is she? Where's that woman? You! Give me a sword! I said give me a sword!
mortal man's destiny.
Like a champion marksman, you shot down the Sphinx.
Oedipus was the world-famous king when you sucked and fondled to the same breast.
Time is an all-seeing eye.
Son of a murdered king.
Why did you ever come here?
Senators! Councillors! Wise men of the sea! If you have any feelings at all for the royal family of Thebes, those descendants of Lapticus, you can't hold back your tears. Not when you hear what I have to tell you and see the terrible scene in the palace. And then deliberate things has been done of such horror, such self-mutilation that the river could not wash the blood, and the stain on the family will be everlasting.
Haven't you heard and suffered enough? What more is there to say?
In the plainest language, the queen is dead.
Dead? How can she be dead?
Poor woman.
She killed herself.
Oh.
And count yourselves like you haven't seen it, because I will never be able to forget it. That image will always be with me now. When she rushed into the palace in anguish, tearing her hair out like a mouthful, and muttering like a mad woman, shouting something about Elias, her first husband, and the night they conceived the son, who was to kill him and breed misbegotten children of his own mother. Then became confused. She screamed and beat upon the man when she has conceived husband by husband and children by a child. Then Oedipus break into the point. Where is she? Where is she? That wife of mine! That wife! And mother, her fair child many twice has been harvested. Me and my children. And he made it for the door. None of us told him. Still, some premonition told me that she was there. And he shoulder charged the doors until the bolt and hitch was shattered. And he ran. And we stumbled in. And we saw her swinging from the ceiling like a pendulum. The king ran to her. He put her gently on the bed, and then the most unbearable thing happened. There were 2 golden brooches on the dress. He opened them up, he raised them up in the air, and he plunged them down his eyeballs, screaming and growing, for his own sufferings were too great for his eyes to see it. And now they will both be in darkness forever. He will never see again those he should have never seen nor loved, those he should have never loved. And that's the way he went on, stunning silence again and again and again and again, until his face was a mass of blood. No drops of blood. No, just like thunderstorms and cloudbursts gashing down his cheeks. They were considered a fortunate family, for a long time. And now, sorrow, pity, grief will be on the family forever.
Is he going any relief, or is he pain getting worse?
No. He's shouting. He's shouting repeatedly for someone to drag him out so the whole Thebes will see the father killer and the mother. I can't say that word in public. He's shouting. He needs to be kicked out of the city. He needs to be exiled by his own decree, so he won't bring this on his own family. He can't see. He needs someone to drag him out. He needs someone to guide him. The physical agony. It's much worse than any man can bear. Oh, the doors are opening. You see himself, sorrow, pity, and grief you must feel when you see him.
His worst enemies couldn't wish him this. Anguish! Agony!
Has any man ever seen such a suffering?
Pity! Someone! I can't see where my legs are taking me! Is that my voice? God! Floating like a ghost in front of my face. God! Punishment begins here. Where will it be?
Horrors are too dreadful for human eyes to see.
I'm dark! I'm dark now. This nightmare's blackness surrounds me. I will never see daylight again. Ah! The peace in my eyes did God's grind sharper, but the pain in my memory cuts deeper.
This is life now.
My friends, are you still here? Still loyal, still kind, you don't desert me. You stay with me. Although I am blind, you show me your care. My eyes, they can no longer see your face, but I know you're here. I understand your voice.
Your mutilated eyes, what darkness in your mind has caused such despair?
Apollo! Apollo the god, my friend! His powder turned my agony, and my eyes were blinded by my own hand. Why have I to see my own degradation and misery?
Ignorance made him happy. Truth has made him blind.
Damn! Damn that man who saw my ankles bleed! Who carried me with those straps! His mercy only made things worse. I should have died! Did I live for this agony? Those who love me a lifetime of misery?
Let the child grave on a mountainside.
Now, my name should be forever known. Father killer, mother's lover, husband and child, father and brother, born to cause misery and to suffer. Any horror or shame, not synonymous to me, but it's me. Wherever man was damned will never.
You have been blinded and banished by your own actions. You'd have been better off dead.
You must never say that, never. Never! What has happened here has happened for the best! You must never tell me otherwise. If I had eyes in my head, then I'd go look my father in the face when I meet him in the underworld. And my mother. Well, death could be punishment enough for the horror that I have done to her. And the children whom I love, what pleasure to see their faces again conceived as they were conceived. These are father's eyes. What would they see? If I had eyes in my head, I could still see the palaces and the temples of my own edicts, my own folly, my own insane determination that denied the slayer of lives. The unclean thing that all men curse and the gods abhor. I mean myself. If I had eyes in my head, how can I look at anybody, even the feeble people in the streets? My ears. This hearing. If I'd known the way of blocking off his receivers or cutting him off from every sound the world made, I'd have done that too with no regret. Make a prison cell in my own mind in solitary confinement from the world. No sight or sound of these horrors could touch me there, and that would be peace. And those wastelands of confinement, like a nurse, cradled me and kept me alive for this. Trees, gullies,
naked rocks. You preserve me to parade in front of the world that well-kept secret of who my father was and who my mother. And Cardiff, my childhood home, and Oedipus and Mary, whom I loved and thought my parents had. Could you imagine what a crop man your open voice? Your open face blood would become his age. Has ever a rosebud been so soggy or run with him, or ever an apple so filthy with my head? Let these images describe me in my youth. Born damned, amongst the damned. And that triple juncture, that overgrown place where three roads meet. Do the trees remember? Or the shady pathways that happened there that day? Whose blood was spilled, my father's, my own. Only way to feed that was that day, and what an act I did there upon the dead man's wife. And so joyfully the same passageway that gave me exit into the world, sowing my seed in the warm earth that germinated me. It's a marriage from a monster! Father, brother, son, sister, all confused, all horribly mingled, liaison too filthy to give a name to. Too corrupt to remember that my name was over. So no more. No more then. That which should never have been done, should never be spoken of. So take me away for God's sake. Take away from the city. As far as any man can go. Hide me. Drown me. And bury my body under the floor of the ocean. You still there? Or have you all gone? Don't leave me for God's sake! Help me, someone! Well, there's no need to draw back. It's not contagious, this crime is mine. I'm the one to bear the shame, the horror, and the pain, and I'm to bear it alone!
Craig is coming. It's up to him now to deal with you. He will advise us as provisional governor in your place.
Of course. There's nothing I can say to him. And why should listen to anything I've got to say? I treated him unjustly.
How have we come to Oedipus? Now that we've down or accuse you of crimes on which judgments committed in the past. But you people, if you have no respect for the common decencies, the sympathies due to any man's suffering, then revere the sun whose warmth and brightness at least sustains us. Open street, in broad daylight, there is no place for a thing unclean. Cursed and sentenced to be cast out, not even in the open air or on the common earth will he find welcome or shelter. Take him in. This place is no place for the public. His suffering, it's private. A matter of family grief and prayer. A matter for his relations, not the whole city.
It's the kindness, crew. More than I expected my degradation. Now for your sake, no man, do me one more favour.
What favour?
Banish me. Take me to an empty wasteland where the human voice cannot be heard.
I could have done that already, of course. But it seems wiser to consult the oracle again.
The oracle's broken ambiguity. Kill the father, kill a young king, then I am a man.
Yes, he did say that. But in circumstances as extraordinary as this, it only seems wiser to consult the gods again.
I am the cause of all this pain, and the punishment is known. What is there to ask?
Haven't you, of all men, learned to trust the gods?
Oh, I've learned that. Now, one more favour must ask for Beck. That woman, the woman that lies dead in the palace, says she's buried decently with all the formalities that you did appropriately. She's your sister, your flesh, and your blood. blood, you over that. In my case, Thebes is my country, my homeland. Though I did not know that until today. My presence life within her walls will be a curse on her. So let me go. So let me go to my own mountains of Capharia. My mother and father left me there to die, and I shall die there now in accordance with the wishes of those who wish me dead. My life was in wrath, not some common ending of old age or sickness, but something more inspiring. Full of terror. Let it come as it will. Now my children, the boys, Polynices and Oedipus, the leading man who can look after themselves wherever they go. But the girls, you're so young, still babies yet. So if I could, just hold them. One more time and share my tears with theirs before I go. Grasping their hands and remembering it. Imagine I'm still alive. I used to see them one more time before I go. Kindness and generosity could do no more. Listen to me. Are they crying?
I know you love them. And you love them still in spite of everything.
Me, I've better luck, both as a king and a father than I have had. Girls, come to me. Antigone, these are your father's hands, and your brother's, and the hands that blinded me. Although I was blind, were at Eve, the truth be known. I knew nothing, as I found you and my own mother, only a wife. My eyes, they can only see you, but they can cry. Or when they do, when I think of what hard lives you will live in the world and the vicious things people will say. Festivals and holidays, no fun for you there will be when you are home, crying alone, and the others enjoy themselves. And later, when you're old enough to be married, where is the man who is brave or foolhardy enough to take you out on that scandalous reputation that'll stick to me, my children and my children's children? That man, he killed his own father and gave his own mother children. He plowed up the same ground from which he came. Those girls, they're his sisters. That's the sort of thing people are saying who would take one under those circumstances, no one else at all. Barrenness and virginity are all you have to look forward to. Creon, Menicius was your father, and you must look after them now as nearest of kin. And the two of us who brought them into the world are dead now or dead to them. So without you, they are quite alone. So don't let them wander, husband and homelessness, and don't condemn the same punishment that falls on me. They're very young, and very poor now, and without you, quite without hope. So promise me, and take my hand upon the promise. Good, brother. Good. Now, girls, if you're old enough to understand such things, I could tell you more, but that will do for now. So when you say your prayers, pray for peace, somewhere to call home, a better life than your father has had.
That's enough. No more crying in public. It's time you went inside.
No, just a moment longer, even against your better judgment.
No. Everything done at the correct time. Everything done as it should be done.
Well, on one condition. I have your promise.
What promise?
To send me into exile.
Only the gods can do that. I shall follow their instructions.
No, don't make me go now. Not the gods hate me.
If they don't want you in there, they'll cast you out.
Do I have your word? Will you do as I say?
No! I shall do what I said I would do.
I'm in your hands.
And you stay here. But the girls go inside.
No! No! Don't take them away from me! No! No! No, the girls, don't do that!
Days of giving orders are over.
Don't take them away from me! No! It's time for you to obey!
The rain! The rain is over! The plague is over! Oh, please, thank you, great dear! The plague is over!
Rain is over.
The plague! The rain! Ah!
The plague is over! The plague is over! The plague is over!
Oh, thank you, rain!
Lord, show mercy! What truth? Athena! Artemis!
Citizens of Thebes, inheritors of our great city,
You have all seen Oedipus the king.
Who solved the riddle the she-monster sent,
And by his genius saved the state.
Whose fame for that deed was so great.
No man just judged him and envied him.
Like a tidal wave.
the disaster swept him to his grave.
Judge no man's life until he's dead.
There's no winner until the race is run.
Call no man fortunate or free from pain.
Till he lies in his last everlasting bed.
And the earth covers his head.
Oh,